with him. And don't think I didn't give him some crap over that. But anyway, so if you're here for the second time tonight, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Like I said, it's the best place to be on a Tuesday night. So there will be two people up here after the teaching that will tell you what group that you, where to get to your group, how to get to your group. There are step studies coming up in January for men and women. So watch for those. Watch for those announcements. I think the women's is starting on January 19th, but what? 18th. See, I never know what's in January. In January, men's and women's. So watch for those announcements. And I just want to remind you guys that next week there is no dinner and no child care. So come accordingly. Fed and no kids. That it?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome up, my friend Scott. And have a great Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I hope that you guys are having a great Christmas season. My kids saw me and they just rolled their eyes. Dad's at it again. Goodness. But anyhow, hey, I just wanted to tell you guys Merry Christmas. Thank you, Debbie, for doing announcements. Next time we'll get a first timer to do it. But it was great. I don't think I've heard that word in announcements before. So I'm glad that we could do that. But I appreciate it. Yes, we do have our step studies starting midway through January 18th for the women, and I believe it's the 24th. It'll be Thursday nights towards the end of January. We'll start one for men, and we're getting the room assignments, all that kind of stuff, and so things are going to be good. If you dressed up and you wanted to share your holiday cheer with others, stand up right now. Because if you wore it, that means you're not scared to stand up. So, yeah, we got flannel in the back. We got some Christmas sweaters. I saw an elf around here. Elf. That is awesome. That is awesome. Thank you guys for participating in our Christmas festivity. If nothing else, I hope this gives you a smile and that you don't go into seizures. That is my goal for that. So I will not teach all night with these on. I'm actually going to turn them off and find a way to hide this thing that won't bother me. So, but I wanted to tell you guys, man, Christmas is tough. I got married. My wife loves Christmas. She loves Disneyland. She loves all those wonderful, fun things about life. And Disneyland is kind of cool. But Christmas I hated. And every Christmas I would get just super depressed and super sad. And as we are coming through our recovery and we're doing inventory stuff and we're looking at life, Christmas can be lonely. It can be isolating. And we can look at everybody else on the outside and see all the fun they're having, because now's when they start posting all their cool stuff on social media, all their Christmas things, and the things you don't see what's behind or on the other side of that camera. But my guess is it's not always what it's cracked up to be, and so we can get in a bad spot. And so I know for me, a number of years, I just struggled. And one year, my wife gave me this gift, and it was this idea, because she knew I had some bad memories from growing up. She gave me a book, and it's sitting in my office right now on my table about new Christmas memories. And just this idea of don't dwell always on the past, but remember that you can create new memories with your family. And so I've already flipped through that book probably 3 or 4 times this Christmas season, and it's good for us to remind ourselves of that and just to remember the new stuff we get to do. Now, I coach wrestling, so Christmas season is a blur because I'm either working or I'm at a wrestling tournament, and those are mind-numbing. But if you ever want to have fun this Saturday, go to Ceres High School, and I'll be in the gym yelling, screaming at my wrestlers. You can come hang out with us. We'll have a great time. Probably I will have earplugs in because it gets loud in there, but love to have you. Tonight, we get to talk about spiritual inventory part 1. I know, right? We're hitting Christmas. Scott, you just talked that it's depressing and sad sometimes, and now you're going to hit us with the inventory? Yes. Unfortunately, that's where it fell, but we're going to go ahead and talk about it tonight. And the idea is that we can go back and we can remember 2 weeks ago where Beatrice ran through those 5 columns with us. Ran through what does it mean to do this inventory. First column is names, people, places, things, right? That we have issues with. Institutions, maybe, and that have hurt us or we have hurt. Second column, what did they do? Not what did you think they do? Hey, not 20 years down the road have you made this story out to this big thing, but what did they specifically do? Because I don't know if you're like me. I think Sam said hi to me the other day, and I took it in my mind, and it was like, hi. And all he said was hi. No. See, we can take things and we can bring them out and distort them, especially so far down the road. And so what did they specifically do? Then that third column, and she may describe it a little bit different, is how did I feel about that? What feelings did that evoke in me? And the fourth column is how did it damage me? Did it damage me socially? Did it damage my security? Not social security, but did it damage me socially? Did it damage my security? Or did it damage me sexually? How did it damage me? The socially is relationally, and a lot of the stuff that has damaged my life has been relational, and so that seems to be a hot topic for me. And then the last one is what's my part? Nothing. That's an easy column. Right? No, a lot. So today we're going to go through, when we start talking about spiritual inventory, and you get through your workbooks, really these lessons are to help you think about names, to go through what I just talked about and what Beatrice taught a couple weeks ago. That's the whole purpose of these 2 lessons that we're talking about spiritual inventory. So tonight we're going to talk about a few things, but I want to read Psalm 139 to you. Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. My anxious thoughts. No one in here has anxious thoughts, do we? Yeah. But that we ask God to really search us. That we would be able to know who we are. So the first column we're going to talk about tonight is our first category is relationship with others. It's a real quick, easy one. Don't worry about it. There's only 7 questions I ask. Who has hurt you? I mean, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Lies. Right? The things that I remember, I don't remember physical pain really growing up from friends. But I do remember, there is some physical pain. I remember in high school, I was a freshman. I was walking into the locker room at Modesto Christian. I was walking down, we just got this huge gym. I'm walking in the door. I open the door, and there's this dude named Darren, who all of a sudden just throws a punch and hits me in the face. Bah! I just kind of closed the door, and it was like, all right, I'm out. And I just walked back to my locker and went home. I was supposed to go into the weight room and work out. I really don't know what happened, except I never blocked for him in football ever again. I did a lookout block. Hey, look out, he's going this way. And then I would go, hi, can I be like, hey, here he comes. Oh, got tackled. He didn't start, and I could never figure out why. Because he couldn't run to my side. It was awesome. But anyhow, that may be resentment that we'll talk about. But who has hurt you? And some of you, names came up really, really quick. Others of you, you're like, I don't know. That's denial, and that's okay. We're glad you're here. Sit back, relax. Maybe some of the examples I use tonight will help you. Who has hurt you? I remember, there's so many names I could throw out on this. I'm trying to find one that's appropriate. I was called names because of my size. Even though I wasn't that big, it was interesting as I thought I was fat growing up, and then my wife looks at pictures of me growing up, and she's like, you weren't fat. And I'm like, yeah, but I got called this and this and this. You're not fat. And I always had that perspective of myself. Now, I'm husky now, but, right? But who has hurt you? I mean, was it your mom? Was it your dad? Maybe it was a husband or a wife. Maybe it's your kids. But who's hurt you? You start thinking of those names, and you put those names in that first column. You start writing those down, and then you go, what do they specifically do? I remember, I'm not going to tell that story. Next question. Whom are you holding a grudge against? Whom are you holding a grudge against? We have to remove that grudge rather than nurse that grudge. See, the way I was raised, the way I was taught, and the way I lived until recovery was you nurse that grudge. Somebody does something to you, well, you better put that away, and you better sock that away, and any chance you can get, use it against them. Use that as fuel to the fire and cause them pain. And that's what was modeled for me in my home. That's what was there for me, and that's what I learned. I didn't learn another way. I didn't know how to remove that grudge. Next question is, whom are you seeking revenge against? I was a youth pastor up in Alaska when I got caught looking at pornography, and I was talking to the senior pastor. I didn't introduce myself, so let me do that. Sorry, that reminds me. I'm Scott, grateful believer in Jesus Christ, who recovered from sex addiction and compulsive overeating. Hey, but I got caught in Alaska looking at pornography, and I remember the pastor called me into his office, and I was like, hey, I need to go tell the elders. I need to go. And he's like, oh, no, this is just between us. And I thought we were copacetic. Okay, that's cool. And then I had some disciplinary actions that I was walking through. But I thought it was all good until I turned in my letter of resignation, and I was sitting down with the chairman of the elder board and the senior pastor, and I remember the chairman of the elder board goes, why did you treat Scott like this? And he goes, because he got caught looking at pornography. And I was like, oh, that was not okay. Wasn't okay I was looking at pornography either. But I was betrayed. And I, at that moment, wanted his life to be hell. You want to talk about a grudge? That was a grudge. Like, my sister-in-law lived on a street, but to get to her street, sometimes you had to drive down this road called Thornton. And I was like, I don't even want to drive that part of town because I may come across that name Thornton, and that name will just strike anger and rage within me. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I just wanted him, and I prayed that God would smite him and ruin his life and all these things. Just like I used to pray about Joe Montana, but nothing ever happened to Joe. He always was able to play a game. Never got hurt. Darn it. But that was the revenge that I wanted. And some of us actively go seek that revenge. Eye for an eye, right? We want that revenge. Next one's, are you jealous of someone? Yeah. There's this dude named Ryan who I went to high school with. Not you. Ryan in the audience is like, me? No. But this guy was in the same grade as I was. He had His dad played Major League Baseball, was a pitcher. This guy had every athletic gift he could have, and his work ethic was atrocious. And I was so jealous that I wanted that athletic ability so I could go and take it with my work ethic and maybe do something. It didn't happen. That jealousy did nothing for me. Maybe it's an item that you're jealous over. All these people driving Teslas and you want a Tesla, but it's not just a regular Tesla. You want the Teslas where the doors open up like, woo, like the DeLorean. You're like, that's awesome. I don't know. Maybe you're jealous of the fact that there's support. I know there was times that I've been jealous in my life that, my in-laws moved to Missouri. My parents weren't very helpful, and I saw families around here where they had grandparents that were active in their lives, and I wanted that. I wanted my kids to have active grandparents, but because of location and circumstances, we didn't have that, and I got jealous over that. Maybe there's some jealousy about that. How about this question? Who have you hurt? Maybe the better question, who haven't you hurt, is a better one. I know I've hurt tons. I've hurt my wife. I've hurt my children, hurt my parents. I hurt my mom so bad that I remember towards the end of her life that almost every time I saw her, she would bring it up. That was hurt and pain that I caused. Who have you been critical of or gossiped about? I remember, I'm doing a lot of remembering now, but I remember when I was, we had 4 young kids in our home, and I was going off to work. Yeah, because that's what I do. I was going off to work, and the house, in the morning was kind of a little bit messy, not a big deal, and then I'd come home from work. I was gone for a long time, and I came back, and it was worse than when I left, and I'm like, what did you do all day? Yeah, exactly. Oh, everyone's like, they're all mad at me. I've changed my ways. I've changed my ways. But I would be like, why aren't you cleaning? I mean, you should be dusting, and you got the blunt. And my sponsor at the time goes, I want you, Scott, to write down everything you expect your wife to do while you're gone. And I was like, got it, dude. And I'm like, smoke's coming off the pencil. It's like, I had this big old list, and then he goes, now whose responsibility is that really? I looked at it, and when my wife and I got married, we took on all the responsibility to make money, to keep the house clean, to raise the kids. It is both of our responsibilities to do those things. Nothing is just my wife's responsibility, and nothing is just my responsibility. I had a lot of learning, and I woke up that day when my sponsor said that, and I went, oh. So who have you been critical about or gossiped about? When you gossip, all we do is add fuel to the fire. We never put it out. We just let it keep burning and burning and burning. How many of you have been gossiped about? Never that fun. How have you tried to justify your bad attitude by saying it's their fault? The famous line now made famous more by Bill Cosby, the devil made me do it. Right? You made me do it. Well, if you would do this, then I could do that. If you would do this, I wouldn't have done that. I hear this a lot from sex addicts. If my wife would just have sex with me more, then I wouldn't have to go do whatever it is, pornography, whatever. Right? Hosea chapter 4, verse 4 says this, but don't look for someone to blame. No finger pointing. Stop pointing the finger at other people and take responsibility for your actions. It's one of the things that I really try to teach my wrestlers is to take responsibility for their actions. And one of the things I try to do for myself on a regular basis. Next category is priorities in life. What are your priorities in life? How do you manage them? Matthew chapter 6:33 says this, seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. What are your priorities in life? What areas are you putting God first? Or are you just putting them in the closet or sweeping God under the rug? I mean, with your job, are you putting him first? What from your past is interfering with you doing God's will? Is it your ambitions? Is it the pleasures? Is it sin? There's things from our past that keep us from seeking after God, that interfere. What have been your priorities in your job, friendships, or goals? For me, 100% selfishness. Me putting my needs, my desires, my wants ahead of everybody else. One of the things I'm trying to work on this Christmas season is watching Christmas movies. I've watched so many romantic Christmas movies. It's awesome. It is great stuff. I can predict it, and my wife goes, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, why are we still watching it? And she's like, because it's a great story. And I'm like, I know. And she goes, well, I can do the same thing with your violent movies. I go, yeah, point taken. Okay. So good deal. Who did your priorities affect? I mean, in my selfishness and my desire to comfort, I ate a lot of food. I got to above 300 pounds. And who did that affect in my family? I mean, nobody, because it only hurts me because it's only my weight. It doesn't affect my kids, except now I don't have the energy to go out and play with them. My back goes out, and so now I can't even wrestle with my kids because if I wrestle and turn the wrong way, I'm gone for like a month. My weight, how does my weight affect my relationship with my wife? How does my wife see me? I mean, now does it affect me financially? Yeah, because now I've outgrown the clothes I used to wear, but now I've got to wear these other clothes, so I got to go buy new clothes. But then I start losing weight, and then I got to go buy other new clothes. The cycle is crazy. Any shopaholics? Yeah, good times. What was good about your priorities? What was wrong about your priorities? Next category is your attitude. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. So how about your attitude? Do you have an attitude of gratitude? Attitude of gratitude. Love that. Or do you find yourself always complaining about your circumstances? You know why your dog tired at the end of the day? Is because you've been growling all day long. I know my kids, if they were in here, they're like, Dad, that's cringy. I know, but it's such a good saying. It is such a good saying. In what areas of your life are you ungrateful? See, 1 Corinthians 15:57, but thanks be to God, he gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. We need to give God thanks. We need to change that attitude as we enter his courts with thanksgiving, that we have that attitude of gratitude. Have you gotten angry and easily blown up at people? Recently, something that has surfaced in our home is this reality that I've known for a long time. Don't talk to Dad until like 9 a.m. If it's before 9 a.m., I'm going to be grouchy. I'm going to be grumpy. I know you're like, Scott, that would never be you. And I go, I know. But it is. It is totally me. I wake up and I'm just mad that I woke up. Like, why did I have to get up out of bed? Like, why can't I just sleep a little bit longer? Like, that's all I want. And so I'm grouchy and I'm grumpy. And I'm not mad at anybody or anything. And then my brain starts to work and starts going down these paths of grumpiness and irritability. And then someone talks to me. And I'm not trying to, but my tone of voice is all gnarly. And then they get mad. And then we start a fight. And then I'm like, I just wanted to get out of the house and like be cool and copacetic and come home and I'll be total chill. But that doesn't always happen. And so how do I change my attitudes in the morning? And I got to really work on that. That's one of the areas for me I have to work on. Have you been sarcastic with anybody? No. Have you been passive aggressive with anybody? Have you given anybody a silent treatment? Because that silent treatment is just as anger-driven as yelling and screaming at somebody. Everybody can feel the silent treatment and can cut it with a knife. It's that intense. How about verbal abuse? Have you verbally abused somebody? Have you called somebody a name that you shouldn't? What in your past is still causing you fear or anxiety? Maybe fear of the imprisonment, being in prison. I mean, Debbie just up here confessed about breaking and entering. Like, is she going to be scared there's a cop going to come arrest her? Right? They're going to get her. Is there a fear that paralyzes you or disheartens you? A fear that imprisons you and locks you up and doesn't allow you to do the things that you're supposed to do? A fear that just makes you so sick to your stomach that something happened to you, or that it's going to happen again, or that you're going to do it to somebody else. Faith liberates us. It empowers us. It encourages us, and it heals us. 1 John 4:18, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. How about your integrity? Colossians 3:9. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices. I taught a class on intimacy, and one of the first things that the first pillar is having, or first topics is having integrity. Integrity in our life. In what past dealings were you dishonest? Did you manipulate? What past dealings did you minimize things? We all do it when we're selling something on Facebook or whatever it is, right? Oh, it's not that bad. It's really good. It runs great. Like new. No. I mean, have you stolen things? Big things, maybe? Have you stolen little things? You know, that paper clip that you took from the office? Not a big deal, but reality is it's still stealing. It's still taking. Have you taken time from your boss? I mean, you know, instead of doing your work, you're sitting there playing around a Clash Royale on your phone. I don't know. Little golf, something on that. Have you exaggerated to make yourself look better? You know, turd polishing. Here's my stuff, and man, I'm really horrible at this, and this is, but look, I mean, it's not that bad. It's really good. It looks really good, and even though we're talking about the crud in our life, we're still trying to make this thing look good to everybody around us. In what areas of your past have you used false humility? Have you lived one way in front of your Christian friends and another way at home or at work? I would say that is one of the things that I try to do good, is wherever you see me, that's who I am. You see me at a Raider game, I am who I am. You see me here, I am who I am. You see me in the baptismal, I am who I am. You see me in my house, now my personality, and I got more energy when I'm here, but when I'm at home, I'm a little chill, but I'm still the same person. I'm not any different. So I challenge you to keep it balanced, your inventory balanced. So not only are we putting names on there of people that have hurt us and that we've hurt, but we're also thinking of people that have blessed us and encouraged us. Your accountability partners, stuff like that. Isaiah 1:18 and 19 says this. Come now, let us reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Though they are red as crimson, they shall be like wool. If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the best from the land. But if you resist and rebel, you will be devoured by the sword. Keep it balanced. Remember the positive things. Even though the toughest person I've ever had a relationship with was my mom, there's still a lot of good things that my mom did for me. And I have to remember those positive things. I'm over time, so I apologize for that. You guys, please stand. Let's close our time with the serenity prayer. Real quickly, let me read this long focus question. Does your walk match your talk? If so, how? If not, why not? Are my actions the same at recovery meetings, church, home, and work? Let's close with that serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the